Hey guys, welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. We're going to take a look at part number 3 of the funny judge child custody case. I really like this judge. I love his sort of sense of humor and how he's trying to break the tension. It's Dad's turn now, so let's hear what he's got to say. All right, and yeah, excited to hear what you guys think.
Next witness, Miss Boss.
I would call my client, Brian Brownell.
All right. Mr. Brownell, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in giving testimony?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed, Miss Boss.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hello. How long have you known the plaintiff?
I've known Brittany since 2015.
And that's when you started the relationship with her?
Yes.
When did it end?
It ended the end of 2016, right after my son was born.
End of 2016?
Yes.
Okay. When did this case come before front of the court for evaluation?
Last year.
All right. There's been some accusations that you did not pay your front of the court fee. Is this true?
No.
Okay. What actually happened there?
I went down there multiple times to pay it, and they said the front of the court order wasn't in down there through the judge or whatever, so I couldn't pay it. And I've even reached out to my lawyer at the time, and he said there was pretty much nothing he could do neither. He was waiting on the order from the court.
Okay. And you were in contact with him
Yes,
about that?
absolutely.
All right. And if I may share my screen real quick. Is that what these text messages are about?
Yes.
Okay. So who is this from?
That's from my lawyer.
And they're to you?
Yes.
Okay. And what are they saying? Just in general.
Just talking about when I was up there trying to pay them, and they wouldn't accept my money.
Okay. So, this is you just working it out with your attorney.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Your Honor, can I admit this as I don't know which number exhibit I'm on from last time.
We are on exhibit number 8.
Okay, could I admit this as exhibit number 8 then?
Well, that depends on Mr. Engman's objections or not objections, or...
No objection.
Okay, I was going to say then that'll be admitted as exhibit number 8. And I will note, I think I went through this at one point in time. There was a time in August and September that we lost a few orders due to changes of judges and files. So I have a feeling this might have been, unfortunately, basically my fault. I remember issuing the order and then having to reissue the order once it was discovered, because we were discovering a bunch of orders that went completely missing.
Okay.
So during that time period, so this may be on me, for lack of anyone better, because who knows how they got lost? God help us. But in any event, once I sign it, it's out of my hands. But that's still, if it lost after it left my hands before it reached somebody else's hands, then it's my fault, and I would apologize for that. But I think I already have. But we'll continue. All right. And I don't know. Do I have a copy of this already, Ms. Boss?
I don't believe so. I will make sure.
Okay. Just make sure you email me the appropriate copies, and this will be marked as exhibit number 8.
We'll do. Put this in an email right now. Jake Metz, correct? No.
Probably R. LeVay,
R. LeVay, okay.
because it should go through my clerk.
Okay. Oh, yep, there she is.
I was going to say, you probably have her email much more readily available than mine.
I do. Online sound. All right, I will make sure that she gets that one.
Okay.
I think I have to dig through my email to find it. All right. So there's been some debate that you were the one that chose to move out of the Grand Rapids area, and that's why week on, week off is inappropriate, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain the timeline of who moved when?
So when my son was first born, we lived at 806 Pat Street, Northwest, on the west side of Grand Rapids. So that was in 2016, the end of 2016, me and Brittany broke up. She ended up moving over to, I believe it was her current husband's parents' house over in Greenville. So then she moved from Greenville, which I think was Bass Lake Road or something. Actually, no, she moved to her grandparents in Howard City. Then she moved to Greenville. Then she moved to Cedar Springs. And then just like a year or two ago, she moved from Cedar Springs down to Kentwood.
Okay, so after she moved to Cedar Springs, where did you live when she was in Cedar Springs?
So when she was in Cedar Springs, that's when we moved up north in Big Rapids. It was about the same distance from 806 Pat Street to her residence in Cedar Springs as it was from Cedar Springs to Big Rapids.
Okay, and then after you moved up to Big Rapids, while she was still in Cedar Springs,
Yes.
that is when she moved to Grand Rapids.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And have you done most of the traveling since then?
Pretty much all the traveling.
Okay. And I have here on our change of address forms showing the dates when those things were changed as well.
I'm assuming you're trying to share.
Yes, one moment. Pull these things up. What's happening here? Oh, there we go. Technology.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There we go.
Here we go. So there's change of address forms here. I don't know if you can see the date stamped on that.
Okay.
When she moved.
These are the post office forms?
No, these are
these
file.
FOC forms. Okay.
Yes, so
Never mind.
Yeah, they should be in the file, but I would like to admit them as Exhibit 9.
Okay. Mr. Engman. John, Mr. Engman, you have to unmute.
I have no objection.
I was going to say, I don't think you can. They are front of the court
They're front
forms.
of the court record.
Right. The ones that we never see, by the way, because they're put in a file over at the front of the court. So I was going to say, I've seen post office ones. And that's why I was questioning it, because I'm sitting here going, why would the post office have a plaintiff or defendant? But okay, never mind.
Okay. Just talking about your routine, since there's been some debate about what happens at your house. What time does Layton go to bed?
About 8:30 we put him to bed.
Okay, and what time does he get up for school when he's with you?
He gets up about 6:30, 6:45, actually on his own. I don't even have to wake him up.
He wakes up on his own?
Yes, that's correct.
And what time does he start school?
I start school at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so he wakes up around 7 on his own. And what time do you leave?
We're usually gone about 7:45, 8 o'clock, right in there. It takes about an hour to get down there to his school.
Okay. There's been some accusations that Layton only gets in trouble during your parenting time. Is this true?
No.
Has there been other examples of him getting in trouble during parenting time?
The whole last school year at his previous school at Town Line Elementary, there was, I would say, probably a couple of times a month. During that time, Brittany would have him during the weekdays for school, and then I would get him every weekend. That's how we were making it work for 50-50. So, pretty much, a lot during that school year, he was behind and getting in trouble.
Okay. And there's also been accusations that Layton is missing homework during your parenting time. Is this true?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Karen Smith talked about a folder that goes back and forth between the school and your house. Is that still the case?
Well, that was, yes, yep, that's the current school with Miss Walcher, yes.
Miss Walcher? Okay.
Yeah.
What grade is he in this year?
Kindergarten.
Okay. Do kindergartners have homework?
No, the kindergartners do not have homework.
Okay. So what goes with him in those folders?
So she'll usually the work they work on for that day, like in school during the class. So like whatever they didn't finish, she'll just send it home. But it's like nothing that's due back to the school.
Do you make sure that whatever needs to be done is done in his folder?
Absolutely.
And you check that daily?
Yes, absolutely.
Plaintiff has stated multiple times that she is terrified of you. Is there any indication that she is scared of you at all?
No, none at all.
And why do you say so?
We used to always meet at her house. She would come to our house. She bought us scopes. We would go to all kinds of get-togethers. She would invite us over for dinner. Birthday parties. Would go out on birthday parties for like Layton together to Deer Tracks Junction. We've been to mud bogs together. She's been to my house with her daughter and her mom. That was just probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. No, so we're always around each other.
Okay. And there's up until this particular case, there hasn't been too many issues with communication.
Correct.
I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, Mr. Brownell, do you recognize this picture?
Yes, I do.
Where did you get this?
I got that from Brittany at the fire department at our meeting area.
Okay,
where we meet at on Sundays.
you say you got it from her. What do you mean by that?
She actually got it right out of the truck and handed it to me right before Christmas. And that's a picture of my son and her son,
Okay.
Zephan.
All right.
Santa has some big boots, but that's a cute picture otherwise.
And you've had multiple other invites, and I believe there is a picture of all of you together at Deer Tracks Junction, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that was during his birthday. That's correct.
All right. I'm going to share again. I'm sorry, was the last picture, was that already an exhibit?
No.
Okay, I would like to admit that as exhibit number.
And that's the picture of Santa Claus?
Yes.
Okay. Certainly. Oh, well, I don't know. Mr. Eggman, is there any objection to a cute picture being entered? Well, you're going to have to unmute.
There we go. No objection.
Okay, in that case, that'll be entered into evidence as exhibit number 10.
Okay, and Mr. Brownell, is this the outing at Deer Tracks Junction you were invited to?
Yes, that's correct.
Who's this from?
Brittany.
And who's it to?
Me.
And did you go to that outing?
Absolutely.
And what is this picture of here?
It's a picture of all of us. That's me, my wife, Layton, Brittany, CJ, and Zephan.
Okay. I'd like to admit this as exhibit number 12.
I believe this is 11. I think 10 was Christmas.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And number 11.
Okay. And Mr. Eggman, any objection?
No objection.
Again, another nice picture. A lot of times I never get to see the party smiling, so it is always, regardless of how it's entered, it's nice to see everybody smiling.
Absolutely.
Plaintiff had a witness on her behalf that claimed she saw you beating on the plaintiff. I believe her name is Sharon Dykstra. Do you know who she is?
I do not. I actually met her one time. I believe Brittany was living with her
Okay.
or something.
Did you recognize her at first?
I didn't even recognize her.
Okay. And yet she claimed that you and Brittany lived together with her, so that was not the case?
No, I've never lived with nobody.
How many times have you actually interacted with this woman?
Oh, maybe once or twice. With meeting Brittany over there. That's when Brittany was staying with them because we weren't allowed to be around each other.
Okay. Let's talk about the door debacle, if we may.
Okay.
So what happened that day?
So that day, it was a Friday, I believe. We went to go get my son out of school. Like I said, we started picking him up on Fridays at school, and then we would drop him off Monday morning at school. So it was, of course, my weekend to get him. We went up to the school, and come to find out, Lathan was taken out of school early. So with that being said, I had to call the cops and make a police report. So we went over to her house. It was me and my wife. Actually, my mom was in the vehicle as well. So I was knocking on the door right before the cops arrived, and the door did pop open. So the cops got there, and then finally she answered the door. Well, then she lied to the cops and said that I kicked the door in. My wife was literally right next to me, and then on top of that, she's got a camera facing directly at her door entry. So she lied to the cops and said that she was watching it. She watched me kick the door in, and then supposedly the video deleted when the cops got there, which didn't make no sense. But I felt it was a setup, just the way she took him out of school early, just for the simple fact of she knows she would pick him out of school early, so I wouldn't get him my parenting time for the weekend.
Okay. So you weren't upset that she was fostering a black child at the time?
No, I never knew anything about no black child.
So to your knowledge, there was no black child being fostered there at all?
No.
Would you have cared even if there were?
I would not have cared.
All right. How long have you had a schedule that came out to be 50-50?
Oh, pretty much his whole life.
Did you come to that agreement mutually?
Yes, we did.
And so there's been accusations that Brittany felt coerced into making that agreement. Do you believe that's the case?
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Why not?
We came to a mutual agreement. We both went to court together that day.
How did you get there?
Actually, she gave me a ride down there. And my wife actually watched my son during that time as well.
Did she pick you up?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Do you believe that you and your son have a bond and strong emotional ties?
Oh, absolutely.
Also,
Well, it's anytime he gets hurt or anything, he comes to his father. If he's sick, he comes to me. Any type of questions, whether it's what kind of bird is that or what kind of plant is that. I mean, he comes to dad for pretty much everything. Even like learning how to put a worm on a hook. I mean, just pretty much everything.
do you spend time with your son when he's at your house?
Absolutely.
And do you believe that Brittany and him have the same strong emotional bond that you do?
I don't believe so, to be honest with you.
Why not?
Just for the simple fact of, like, when we go to drop him off, it seems like he never wants to go with his mom. He does get upset. I guess the way she dresses him, his hygiene, there's a lot of concerns.
One moment. Okay, I'm just gonna run through my exhibits real quick.
Yeah, she has to borrow money quite a bit for diapers and all that. I'm sorry.
We're not there yet. share my screen again. Do you recognize this text message?
Yes.
Who's it from?
Looks like Brittany.
And who's it to?
Me.
Okay. What does it say?
It says late calling me mommy for the first time today.
Dated April 14, 2019.
That's correct.
Would that suggest to you that he never called her mommy before then?
Yes.
Okay, and he would have been how old at that point?
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Was this normal for him at the time, you think?
For a 3-year-old, no.
Are there any reasons that you believe that they didn't have strong emotional ties?
I just feel he's being neglected, to be honest with you.
When he was young, that is, was there anything that suggested to you that she didn't have strong ties to him?
Like, what do you mean? I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, like, did you always struggle getting time to see him when he was younger versus now? Or
No, now it's, so when he was younger, me and my wife would pretty much always have him. Brittany was always working, her and her husband. At the time I started my own business, kind of working for myself. So pretty much all the time I would pretty much have my son when he was a baby.
Okay, did she express any concerns that he wasn't being taken care of with you or anything
Never.
of that nature? All right. So the concerns that she's been expressing have been relatively new then,
Yes.
but nothing in your life has really changed that would warrant such concern.
No.
Do you believe you have the capacity to give your son love, affection, and guidance?
Absolutely.
And does your son look to you for those things?
Yes.
How so?
Oh, I mean, he's likes to cuddle with dad. I mean, anytime he gets hurt, he'll come to me. Whether it's trying to pronounce a word while he's trying to read or something, he'll come and ask me, to help him. He just comes to me for everything, to be honest with you.
Okay. Do you have a religion or creed that you've raised your son with?
No.
Does plaintiff have a religious creed that she would like to raise him with?
I'll come to find out from Layton, my 6-year-old, I had to find this out, that she's been taking him into Jehovah's Witness.
So is this a recent entry into a Jehovah's Witness situation?
Yes.
Did you agree to this?
No, not what? No. Oh, no.
Okay. And can you describe the way Layton acts when he's with you for a substantial period of time?
He acts really good, to be honest with you. He's smart. He's very understanding. He listens. He's respectful. He's responsible. If we ask him to do anything, like pick up his toys or anything, I'm actually really proud of him.
Is this different than the way he acts after coming back from his mother's house?
It is.
How so?
Usually he comes back from his mom's. He's extremely quiet, usually for a couple of days, and then he'll slowly start to open up.
Okay. So do you believe that he needs to be worked with to help manage the symptoms of his developmental diagnosis?
Absolutely.
And do you believe plaintiff puts that work in with him?
I do not.
Why not?
Just for the simple fact that he's behind in school and stuff. I feel like in her household, she's just letting it go from school, and then when he comes home, there's just let him be a kid. But I feel as a parent, schooling is very important, and we should be working on it ourselves as well as parents with the child to help them through his schooling instead of just the schooling supposedly teach them. It's our job as a parent to teach our kids.
Do you believe you put the work in?
Absolutely.
And do you see results in him when you work with him at home?
I've been seeing a lot of results.
Okay. So are you aware of what his school record was last year?
I am, yes.
Then you know that last year he was marked as being well below the benchmark in almost every category?
That's correct.
Okay. Have you seen his school records from this year?
I have, yes.
Okay. And do you remember what they said?
He's pretty much back on track. He's doing really good.
And is this the first year that you've had him for a significant amount of time during the school week?
Yes.
Your Honor, can you remind me if his school records have already been entered into evidence from the last hearing?
I've got school weeks that he was there, absence records, and an IEP. So his attendance has been done. But I don't believe any exhibits involving grades or anything.
I'll just share my screen here for a second. This one is really hard to read on this screen, but maybe we can figure it out.
I say the IEP looks familiar.
Are you able to read that? Or does it need to be zoomed in some more? No. Can you read that from here?
What, highlighted?
Yes.
So far it seems I can't.
To flirty, but yeah, okay, no.
It's a photocopy of a photocopy, so you know it's hard to read. So far it seems that Layton is doing better this year in school than last. So if we don't already have this one, I would like to admit it as exhibit.
I may have seen something like that in the exhibit listings, but I don't think it's been entered as an exhibit. But let me double check. It was toward the back. Yeah, present level. Well, that's part of the IEP. Is this part of the IEP?
Yeah. The team report.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's, I believe, already been entered into evidence as exhibit number 6.
Okay, all right.
I thought you were talking about some other, like I said, the IEP has been entered,
Okay.
but no educational record. So if this is the IEP, and hold on, what page was that on in the IEP?
It was the second full paragraph down on the parent guardian concerns.
All right, hold on. So yeah, so far it's actually quite legible on this. It's actually on the very first page of that, and it states so far he seems to be doing better this year than last year in school, and with his attitude at home. How they can, oh, that must be reported from the parents. Okay. So that's not from the school, that's from the parents?
I'm not sure.
Because that's the parent guardian concerns. That's not the school's concerns. So that's a self-report from the parent, because I don't think the school could understand that his attitude at home was improved and that he learned how to say his younger brother's name or the relationship with that brother. That looks like it came from a parent report.
Okay.
So that was not a school issue.
No. It does mention in school though, and this does not appear to have been self-reported by Brian.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I was going to say the student strengths look like that came from the school. Oh, never mind. That also starts about helpful with everything at home.
all right. You said his attendance records have already been admitted?
Yes. That was exhibit 4 and 5.
Do you remember his attendance from last year, Brian?
Kind of.
Do you remember how many absences he had last year?
Quite a few.
Does 16 sound about right?
Yes.
All right. And who had him during the school week that year?
His mother, Brittany.
Okay. And what about this year's attendance? Do you remember how many absences this year?
Just a couple this year.
Okay, any of them you?
I believe once he was sick. Yes.
Okay, and you called him in?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And you guys have been doing a week on, week off this year?
Yes.
The entire school year?
Yes, the entire school year.
So would you say that he's doing better this year in part because you're working with him during your weeks?
Absolutely.
All right. Are you, oh, I'm sorry. Do you believe you have the capacity to provide food, clothing, and medical care for your son?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you believe plaintiff has the same capacity?
I don't think so, to be honest with you.
Why not?
Just for the simple fact of, she's always going from job to job. Same with her husband. They're both bouncing from new job to new job constantly.
So you think there's some stability lacking there?
Exactly.
Okay. Have there ever been times that after the separation, even when she was married, that you needed to help with basic necessities in her home?
Yeah, she's actually asked me to borrow money for diapers. Car seat she didn't have for him. I had to buy him boots and snow clothes for Brittany, so she would have that stuff for him.
This was in addition to what you had at your house for him?
That's correct. This was so she could have it for herself.
Okay. Have there been issues with getting Laketon's medical records from her?
Yes, there has been.
And you share joint legal custody as of right now?
Yes.
And when did she start to claim that Laketon was autistic?
I want to say maybe a couple years ago.
All right. So he
Maybe a little bit longer.
Would have been 3 or 4?
Yeah, probably right around 3-ish.
Okay. When did she have Laketon officially evaluated for autism?
I'll come to find out it was, I think, a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
I want to say about 2 years ago.
All
I
right.
just found that out not long ago.
Did you have reason to doubt her claim that Laketon was autistic before seeing the doctor's evaluation?
Yes, in a way.
Awesome.
Just for, well, it's, so she said that he don't have eye contact. She says he don't talk. She says, just a bunch of weird things, and none of it's true. He has eye contact with you. He'll carry on a conversation with you. He's just like us, other than his speech ain't perfect.
Okay. And after you've been educated on autism, do you still doubt that your son is on the autism spectrum?
No, I feel he is on the autism spectrum, and that's for his speech. Yes, that's correct.
And you are perfectly willing to provide the care that he needs to manage those symptoms?
Absolutely.
You said that you helped plaintiff purchase certain things for her home basic necessities. Have they all been for Laketon?
No, for her other son as well.
So she's reached out to you for help for her other children that are not yours as well.
That's correct.
And you have
For money to buy diapers and stuff. Yes.
and you provided her with that help.
I would not deny that.
Do you believe you provided your son with a stable environment?
Absolutely.
How so?
I've only lived in 2 residences since he's been born. We own our house. We've been up there for I'm gonna say right around 4 years. I'm a business owner. We're pretty known in the community.
How long has Shanna been around?
His whole life as well, pretty well.
And Shanna's your wife?
He was about 6 months old. Yes.
Okay. And she's your wife now?
Yes, that's correct.
Does Laketon have his own room at your place?
Yes.
And since he was a baby, you said you've had 50-50 with him in some capacity since he was a baby?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that the plaintiff has given him a stable environment?
I do not.
Why not?
Just for the simple fact, it seems like every year she's moving to a new location. I'm worried about living conditions as well. When she lived in Cedar Springs, the conditions were really horrible. I know that trailer park was like full of drugs. That's why they ended up moving out of there. I know her current residence. I made multiple CPS complaints for her current residence because there's been multiple times where we went over there to pick up my son and we'd see him and Zephyr running around with screwdrivers and a knife one time when we showed up. The living conditions on the inside of the trailer were horrific. Smelled like dog feces and garbage. There's just stuff laying everywhere.
Okay. Have you known whether or not there are unrelated people living in the house with them at any given time?
Well, quite a few times when we'd go over there, there's always people around. And, I would ask Brittany about if they're living there. And of course, she would lie to me. But come to find out, there's been a few different families that's lived with her.
So the gentleman that spoke on her behalf at the last hearing, the one that was there when you, during the door incident, did you know that he was living there at the time?
I did not.
Did you ask?
No.
Who all lives in your home?
Just me and Shanna, and then Leighton when we have him.
Okay, how long has this been the case?
Oh, since Mackenzie moved out a couple years ago after she graduated. So,
And
a couple years.
okay, who is Mackenzie?
Mackenzie is Shanna's daughter, so my stepdaughter.
Okay. Does Leighton have close ties with anyone else in your home or as part of that family unit?
Yes, I mean Mackenzie, Dominic, Shanna's mom, her sister, she comes over quite a bit. And they all live just right down the road. So they live extremely close. They come over quite a bit.
Okay. So the plaintiff is going to talk about your moral fitness quite a lot because of your past arrests. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I've made some mistakes in the past. I've learned from it. I grew from it. It's kind of a learning point in my life. I just look at where I'm at now and compared to where I was, I came a long way in life. I'm proud of myself. Like I said, we own our house. I'm a business owner. I take that extremely serious.
So let's talk about the plaintiff's moral fitness. Do you have concerns about her moral fitness as a parent?
I do.
Okay, how so?
I'm just concerned with the way she dresses my son. I'm concerned with his hygiene. A lot of times we'll pick him up and he'll smell like BO and stuff.
Morally speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you mean morally?
You've expressed some concerns about her husband.
Oh yes. Well, another thing too, I've been worried about Brittany. She's been suicidal for years, and it's on paper. When she was pregnant with Leighton, she had to go admit herself at, I believe, Network 180 or Hope Network. She had to spend 2 months there. So she was suicidal at the time. There's been a lot of times where she's been suicidal. I'm worried about her husband. He's not allowed to be around his children. From my understanding, it was because, I don't know if something to do with the kids were touching each other or he was touching the kids or something. I don't know exactly, but it's something along that line that's why he's not allowed to be around his kids.
Well, how do you know that?
He's actually told me that's why.
Okay. When did he tell you? When did he talk about this last?
We just spoke about this yesterday, actually, at a drop-offs. He told me that he's not allowed to be around his kids no more because he didn't complete his classes.
Okay. And this is Leighton's stepfather?
Yes, Columbus Machette.
Miss Matchett's husband?
That's correct.
How's your physical health?
Good.
And your mental health?
Very good.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
No.
So do you know why the plaintiff has claimed that you've been diagnosed with PTSD and dissociative identity disorders?
I don't have a clue. She just made it up.
Okay. To your knowledge, how is the plaintiff's physical health?
I'm good, I would imagine, physically.
Okay. And you've spoken about her mental health, that you have concerns there.
Yes, many.
So let's talk about his homeschooling community record. How is Layton at home with you during your parenting time?
He's really good.
Does he do his homework?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He reads. Yeah, he likes to help out with all kinds of stuff. Like if I'm mowing or shoveling, he's always eager to come help Dad.
Any behavioral issues at home with you?
None.
Have there been any behavioral issues at school during your parenting time?
Just a couple months ago, yes. He ended up getting in trouble for hitting, I believe, another kid with his lunch pail or something.
Okay.
So he was like, we had to pick him up, I believe, at like 1 o'clock. So he was suspended for the rest of the day.
Okay. To your knowledge, how does he behave at his mother's house?
I do not know exactly, to be honest with you.
Okay. And has he had any behavioral issues at school during his mother's parenting time?
Yes, last year, many.
Can you tell me about some of those?
Oh, it seemed like probably, I'd say twice a month, I was getting a call from the school about getting in trouble. And like I said, his mom would have him Monday through Friday. I'd pick him up Friday after school and then bring him to school Monday. So pretty much usually Wednesday, Thursday, he would start acting up later on in the week. There's never been a time where it was Monday or Tuesday where he would act up in school. It was always later in the week. And I feel that's somewhat his mom's responsibility.
Was there an incident on the last day of school last year?
Yes, last day of school, Miss Smith was just talking about it. They were doing a field day or whatever at the school. Brittany came up to the school, spent like half the day there with them for field day. 20 minutes after she left, Layton got kicked out of school for hitting another kid. Literally 20 minutes after she left.
You've mentioned that you've had issues before with him not being picked up from school when he was supposed to be on his mother's parenting time.
Yeah, so when they lived in Cedar Springs, for probably a month there, we're getting probably 2 or 3 calls a week from the bus station saying that there's nobody there to get Layton off the bus. So then we'd have to drive from Big Rapids down to Cedar Springs to go get my son from school. And that happened, I bet you, close to a dozen times.
Okay. What happens when Layton has to leave your house to go to his mom's?
Well, he gets a little upset, of course. So every Sunday we let him know, it's meet up time. You got to go to mom's, and he does get upset. And he says, I want to stay here with Dad and Mom, which is Shanna, his stepmom.
What do you say when he gets this way?
Well, I just let him know that it's his mom's time, and that it's time for him to go spend time with his mom and his brother and his stepdad.
Okay. Have you ever spoken poorly about Brittany to Layton?
Never.
Do you believe that the plaintiff is willing to facilitate a parent-child relationship between you and your son?
What do you mean?
Like, have you ever had issues with her denying you parenting time or?
Oh, wow. Yes. There's like I said, she would go pick him out of school on purpose on Friday. That way I couldn't get him for the weekend. She's taken off out of state with him without my permission. The one time she took off out of state, I actually, so they left state and they broke down in Iowa. Supposedly the truck cab came off the truck. It was completely rusted out. CJ told me that his brother had to come pick him up from Texas. So they came and met him in Iowa, I believe it was. Towed the truck all the way down to Texas where they were going. I talked with Brittany. I said, that's fine. I was like, if you want to stay down there for a week, that's fine. So you guys can visit family. A couple weeks later, still no word. So I got a hold of her. She said that they bought another truck and they were trying to fix it up and swap all the parts from the one truck to the new truck they got. After that, it was 5 weeks. I got a hold of her. I offered to buy her a plane ticket. I offered to buy a bus ticket as well to send Layton back or send them all back. But she said she didn't want to leave her husband. Yeah, there's been a lot of times where she would keep them during my parenting time and just say, well, I don't agree that you keep them. And she would just take them, and obviously there's nothing I could do.
Plaintiff is likely going to talk about the domestic violence in your relationship with her. Do you believe that all of the plaintiff's versions of the events are accurate?
No.
Was the plaintiff ever violent with you?
Yes.
How so?
Oh, I mean, we'd have our little arguments and stuff. Well, to be honest with you, when I did get my domestic, she was, to be honest, she was the violent one. So we were living in York Creek. She ended up moving out to Wyoming State with her parents. So I stayed at York Creek. We were kind of seeing each other. I was there for a couple months. She ended up running away from out in Wyoming. She pretty much kidnapped her daughter, Kylan, and literally loaded everything up in her car and ran away from her parents' house. So she came back to Michigan. I was living in York Creek. She found out that I was kind of seeing another person. So everything pretty much went right downhill from there. And she turned extremely violent. It just so happened that the one time I just managed to kind of protect myself, and I ended up getting a domestic over it.
So you're saying that the one conviction you have for domestic violence against her was a reactive violence?
Yes, that's 100% correct.
Okay. Do you believe that the plaintiff has weaponized the police and courts against you when it serves her purposes?
Absolutely.
Have there been any reports of domestic violence between you and Shanna?
No.
Did you tell the front of the court evaluator any of what you told the court today?
Yes, everything.
Did you get a chance to review the FOC report?
Yes.
And did they include your answers and exhibits in their report?
No.
Did you give them a list of people to contact on your behalf?
I did.
And to your knowledge, did they contact any of those people?
They did not. None of them.
Okay. Do you feel that the FOC report accurately reflects the reality of the situation between you and the plaintiff and you and your son?
No.
No further questions.
All right. In that case, it is perfect timing. It's 5:01, so we'll go off the record to find the next date.
Hey guys. Well, what did you think about that? Part of Dad's testimony I found credible. Some of it I found a little bit exaggerated. I thought it was really interesting how at the end there he kept saying, just to be honest, to be honest. And I know that judges hate that because you're supposed to be honest all the time. Anyways, I'm going to try and find the rest of this hearing if I can. But that's all that I've got right now. Anyways, let me know what you think down below. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It really means a lot. Every single one of my new subscribers gets a little kitchen dance from me. So, anyways, thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.